This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more.
All right, I'm gonna bring us live then, because that's what we do, right? It's a thing.
I think so.
Okay.
Just have to prove that we're not AI.
I don't think this proves anything.
No?
I still don't think it proves anything.
I mean, I don't have a green screen, so doesn't that count for something?
I also don't have a green screen, but you can't see the fingers on any of my statuettes. So you can't see my fingers either. And we all know how infamously bad hand check. So we prove we're not AI.
Yep.
Gotta count them all quickly.
Yikes.
I miss the days where the best they could do was Will Smith eating spaghetti and other pasta, and him just like warping his mouth and face as he does it, and then basically him starting to turn into spaghetti. That was peak AI right there.
I don't know what it is about AI, but so many of the, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but so many of the pictures are just unappealing.
Yeah, they're lacking that human aspect of it, the imperfections.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of imperfections, but
fair, but you know what I mean. The things that make it look like it was the soul of it.
There's a flatness to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of get that feeling with airbrushing. Like now, I have a more difficult time looking at something and thinking like, did somebody spend a lot of time airbrushing this, or did somebody AI it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good problem to have. Like, I would like to know what is real and what is heavily not fake. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Have you ever heard of the dead internet theory?
You're gonna tell me.
Okay. So the dead internet theory is it's an online conspiracy, like all fun things are, that anybody you interact with on the internet is not real anymore. It's a part of some computer algorithm, AI-generated thing where you're just talking to different AI-made profiles of people rather than actual people.
Does that make us... Wait, okay.
Are you talking purely on posts or including this right now?
Posts. Posts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it stands to reason. Didn't we once, I believe it was you, Joel, you paid for the media boost on Facebook, and then we had a bunch of weird interactions that seemed like gibberish?
Yeah, the worst $20 I ever spent beyond Stadia for this. Yeah, well, I got a refund for Stadia. I mean, the worst thing that was a loan to Google. So whatever, but so that's what yields you money on those platforms, if you're unknown at least, is just spoofed profiles, you know.
I guess
maybe those were made by actual people, right?
Yeah.
You know, although Elon has said that he wants to give you 8 AI friends.
I don't want 8 AI friends.
No. I don't want 8 friends.
I mean, okay, so on the topic of being unknown, because that's who we are as a podcast, and just general people, I imagine. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you hear about these guys at Giant Bomb. I guess they have a podcast also about video gaming. They've got the Jeff Grubbs and the Dan Rickards of the world. What, they're going to go solo now? That's a thing?
Yeah, don't forget about Mike Manicotti and Jeff Butler.
There's a Jan in there too,
and a Jan. There is a Jan somewhere in there. So
what does this mean for small time podcasters like us? We're struggling to stay afloat. We don't have any revenue stream, and these guys are now going to take over our market by breaking off with big media.
No, are they breaking into separate podcasts that each one is doing, or is it super bombastic radio and friends whenever they podcast?
Can they legally call it Giant Bomb still? Like, did they retain the rights to the name?
Details are mum, but they do own the rights to the name Giant Bomb. I assume there was lots of please take Giant Bomb off our hands because I don't know how to market the name Giant Bomb. But yeah.
Do we own the name Super GG Radio? If we don't, we probably should. Yeah. Oh no! Oh no! Should we do that now? Should we just stop the podcast to go purchase the rights to the name, or
how do we do that?
We'll worry about that once we, actually garner an audience. It's fine. We'll do it. We'll do it after we need it. That's how it works.
But what if that audience comes up and steals the name from us, and then we have to pay for it back?
Then we just change our name to Starry. It's fine.
I think we've got enough legal backing from our past episode and episode archives that we can show that we had the name beforehand.
Is this like how common law marriage works? Because we've had it for 5 years, it legally belongs to, or it legally is one with us?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's... Those are 5 years we won't get back.
You started this.
Yeah,
I'm pointing a finger at you. This is on you and Alex.
I was a co-founder of your pain. Yes.
I don't even think that if I look at the credits from the first 5 years of episodes, I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am today. It says host, but that doesn't seem like a real thing.
It's more of a co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is communism at its finest, right?
I mean, we're not the state. Yet.
I mean... Okay. I wish Alex was here so I could cut him off so that we could do the intro to the episode. But this is Super GG Radio. Welcome to session 293. I am going to talk at you about video games and all things adjacent. I'll be your Soviet ruler, Eric Getty Gettinger. With me is Joel, the czar of finances and crop production.
I assume I'm going to get one of those furry hats. That
you have to.
It's just to survive.
Furry hats all around. Mm-hmm. And then just regular comrade of the podcast, Alec Parks, with us.
He's good. He's better than Potato.
Until you turn Potato into alcohol.
With Potato, it can be all things.
Even shoes?
He's shoes. he's alcohol. He's potato chip.
Delicious. That's how I like my potatoes. Mixed up and mashed, maybe?
Maybe.
Isn't there a Hobbit saying that we can infringe on as well?
Well, yeah, it's very starchy.
Boil and mash them, put them in a stew.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Something along those lines. Yeah, so we have a podcast this week. Unfortunately, severe weather in the area seems to have knocked Alex out of Super GG radar rotation. I mean, until we get to space, I guess we're just kind of stuck here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to, we get into space and we start our own space colony, and then war breaks out, and then it's the planet Earth against the space colonies, and then we get giant robots, And if you didn't figure it out, I'm describing the plot of every Gundam series.
I'm sorry. I'm just here for the yelling and pool flashing light show.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like G Gundam though.
I mean
that's the arena is Earth and the Shining Finger or something.
That is just a whole tournament arc.
Yeah.
Show.
And it doesn't really... It's like the black sheep of the Gundam universe because it's very, very laden down with stereotypes.
Have you guys started playing the gacha game SDG Gundam Generations Infinite on phone?
You said a lot of words just now.
I did.
And I have not. Does this count as an alpha, beta, or game that you played for this week? Is this an early adopter, Alec?
Yeah, sure. It's a game I've been playing for 2 weeks.
Sure.
When did it come out?
2 weeks ago.
You're an early adopter, sir.
I'm an early adopter. Great. So you have these series that you're going through, and you have to build a squad of Gundams from that series, and you get a backup squad of Gundams from any series. Mm-hmm. And it's a tactics-based game, so you actually get to move your Gundams strategically and attack and be out of range potentially. Each series has a diagram of Gundams that you can build to make stronger Gundams to make going through the story easier. It's got all the things you want, plus gotcha.
But I already physically built the Gundams in real life, so do I get anything from that?
No. You get nerd cred.
I don't know if that's the kind of credit that I want, but...
we're sort of the bank here. You know,
I am a fan of Gundam. What else does it have? How can you sell this game to me?
It actually goes... You can choose to watch the story for each game as you're going through it.
So you complete like a mission or a battle, and then it gives you a cutscene?
Yeah, it gives you little... not like an animated cutscene, but like stills and text of what's going on in the story as you after you complete each mission.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and which series have you then played through?
I have played through Gundam, Gundam Seed, Gundam Wing, Gundam Z A New Translation, and Gundam ZZ.
Okay.
And I'm starting G Gundam now.
And you're really confused why everybody is shouting in G Gundam, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I figured that it was a caps lock is cruise control for cool situation.
Yeah. Kind of. Not 100%, but I don't know what was up with that series. Like, I will stand by all the Gundams, but there's just something special about how nonsensical it is. You know, usually you've got like the government is oppressing people, or there's some type of war that's going on, and then this one's just straight up like, we're having a battle royale, and in order to defeat the other country, you need to destroy the head unit of the Gundam. Like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, that's just it. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it knows what it is, and it's exactly the opposite of what Gundam usually is, and so that makes it its special little thing. Yeah,
but it has such heavy stereotypes, like the pilot from France, he has a rose. The American has American trunks, and he's a boxer. I don't know how in depth this game goes into it, but I think they even go to Egypt at one point, and they have to fight a mummy Gundam.
Fun.
So maybe you haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's just wackadoo.
Yeah, I'm only like 3 missions into G Gundam. Because, of course, you're limited by energy that you have for each day. What would a gacha game be without a limitation?
Unlimited fun.
Yeah, probably.
They got to make money somehow, right?
Yep.
And they ain't getting it from us.
No, I'm cheap.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't mean like that, but I'm also of the same thought process, Alec. Even, I'm going to go slightly off topic, but since we're on the focus of mobile gaming, Magic the Gathering Arena dropped their, hey, we're going to have Final Fantasy in the app. And I'm like, do I actually want to fork over digital money for digital cards? I don't know.
So I do the Google rewards thing, which lets Google invade your privacy.
Yes.
In exchange for money. And I have like $30 in Google money, so I bought the Play Pass.
Well, now we have to play more.
We do.
But don't tell Alex I have a reputation to uphold here.
Oh, no, you never play games with people.
Yep, never. And forget about wanting to play physical Magic. I don't have any decks just sitting around.
I'm totally going to put a Rosa in my Karlach deck. Have you seen her?
I have. Joel looks really confused.
Did they make a Baldur's Gate pack?
They did a while ago. Yeah,
okay.
They did.
I'm just proud of myself for knowing who Karlach is for one here, but yeah,
hey,
they
you
do
made it through
everything.
a chunk of that game.
Yeah. Heartweight is still barking at my tree. We'll get that figured out, but yeah, Melvin needs to make a return sometime.
Yeah. So, if you have been living under a rock and you aren't aware of it, Final Fantasy is coming to Magic the Gathering, so prepare for probably us to talk about that, if not play with it here in a couple of weeks. Geez, it's second week of June. We should have a stream around then.
We should, but I don't know. I'll be too busy with my Switch.
Yeah?
Hopefully. Assuming the Walmart driver doesn't lose it.
I think you'll get it. Well, maybe I'll just have to figure out how to stream. I don't want to. Don't make me do stuff. I'll probably just end up swearing and then I'll get in trouble, right?
You should go on Rumble.
I'm not going on Rumble.
Yeah, but they won't cancel you.
I think as long as we're marked mature, we can swear. But not on the podcast. Podcast has punishments.
I mean, do you guys swear on the streams that you do? Looking at Joel and Alex?
No, not usually. I'm actually usually pretty tame vocally on streams.
I don't know. Okay.
It's one thing when I'm mad at myself, I can restrain my language. It's when I'm mad at other people that I did a looser tongue with profanities. So.
I think I'll want to circle back and get a Sekiro checkup before we end the episode. But we do have other early adopters. We did play more than our mobile games this week because everybody plays those. And it's just something shameful that you don't talk about. Except on this podcast. Then we talk about it all we want. All right. We have 2 regular early adopters. I only got the opportunity to play one of them. The other one is... Joel, do you feel confident, comfortable talking about Friday at Ours?
Very briefly.
Okay.
So Friday at Ours is it's a little adventure they describe it as a time management sim. The demo doesn't delve too much into that piece of it, but the premise is basically you're a social recluse in an apartment building. Everybody in the apartment building's having a party nearby. You weren't invited for one reason or another, but you can't fall asleep because they're being so loud. So eventually you just decide to walk in and make an attempt to be part of the party. Okay?
In the most awkward way possible?
Yes. Just walking in and start awkwardly talking to the first person in front of you. And the whole idea of the game is that there's a clock in the top left-hand corner, and you're in this party, and early on you find out basically the party ends at 10 a.m., and it's like midnight when you're first getting there.
Whose party is this?
Your neighbors.
Why? Why? Hold on.
Yeah.
Were we like this at one point?
Not till 10 a.m.
I feel like our parties like bottomed out at 3, and even that was Alex on the couch playing Skate, while the rest of us are trying to fall asleep or get him off a skate at the very least.
Just stop playing the demo. Just buy the game.
Yeah.
This one's a little wild, and it's visually it's all kind of unrefined, loosely defined, hand-drawn animation style art. They don't know a primary color to save their life, so everything is like purples and other mixed colors like that, and but it all creates this sort of cohesive, fun, grungy-looking style when you're walking around. The gameplay itself is pretty much just walking around, talking to people, interacting with items, and then trying to build relationships with these people to open up new avenues to explore. So for one example, there was a couple of women who, one wanted to do Truth or Dare, and the other one didn't because it's childish and she's too adult and grown up for that. And your job is to try to figure out how to convince her to play Truth or Dare. Now, a third person needs to show up at some point in the party, and they show up sometime after the demo, so I didn't get a chance to see how that played out. And you will find that for several of these people, they're saying, okay, well, I'm looking for this person, but they haven't shown up yet. I'm expecting them at about 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning?
Yeah, so
they're
it's
just
like
rolling up on a party at 2 in the morning?
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes till 10, who wants to really be at a party for 12 hours? For 10 hours?
Okay.
Look,
all right,
2 in the morning Pacific is...
please... Though, let's not even try and complicate this by adding time zones. I know full-grown adults who can't figure out time zones.
Well,
in my industry, it's awful.
I already screwed up by saying 2 a.m. Pacific, because that'd be 4 here. I meant to say midnight to 2, but...
it's all right.
But yeah,
what kind of... is there alcohol at this party? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Yes, you have to introduce yourself to the owner of the apartment first. Then he offers alcohol. You can then put it in a solo cup and drink over time, and it temporarily increases your courage. But there's a buzzed meter, apparently. I couldn't find the buzzed meter. I don't know what it does if you get too buzzed. But it seems to be something that they're teasing out. So I'd be curious to see what kind of bad things you could do if you went too far. So
you probably just do regular throw up stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Get drunk and take your shirt off. What else is a horror story?
The main character said that they had never drank anything really before, so it probably wouldn't take too much. Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's all sorts of bad choices in this game. But, I mean, the dialogue's pretty funny or interesting. I didn't find anybody very dull. There's fun little things to do, like there's a dance mat, and then you can jump on there and choose different dancing styles, and it'll be kind of like a Peanuts Charlie Brown thing when they're all dancing in the backdrop, so that's kind of fun. And yeah, there's not a lot to it at this demo, but it's an interesting idea and premise, and we'll see how it looks when it comes out.
Okay. you definitely have me intrigued by just the premise and the sheer, I don't know, a 10-hour party. Oh, you could get into so much trouble.
Oh, it's gonna get weird. There's a guy in the hallway just doing sort of a ska dance in the dark. And then there's a beer pong table, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you know that guy in the hallway. He took our ping pong ball. You had to go talk to him to get it back." He walked down there, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, that guy's been out the divvy for years. Now I'm bummed." And then he just stands there staring off dejectedly. So,
Whoa.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Time management sim. I don't see it, but okay, all right. Well, we got one other game to talk about, and we're gonna roll on to Dice of Arcana. And I had kind of specifically picked this because it reminded me of your Inscription of the World.
Yep.
But now a dice game, and I managed to get the game to crash during the third battle, or the third encounter.
Really?
But, yeah. I mean, I was happy with the amount of progress that I made, and it does seem like it... So there was another game that we played called Buckshot Roulette.
Yes.
And that was the one where you pretty much are just like sitting at a table across from somebody, and you're directly battling that person.
Yep.
And in a way, that's what Inscription does, but there's more of an open concept to Inscription, and there's different interactables in the environment, and that's kind of where Dice of Arcana sits with me. So it's a weird setting. You are first-person view and trapped in a carriage as it is traversing across these plains. While you're sitting at this big wooden table, there's some mystic ruin that is carved into your hand, and you have this terrible flashback of whatever happened prior to your getting trapped here. And pretty much the demo is playing this game against other people that are stuck in the same situation at the table, and the loser doesn't have a good time.
No. Oh,
This
that
monster
is a bad
like
time.
straight up cuts off your hand.
Finger, just a finger.
Fingers.
Just that's the fingers. Yeah, I saw the fingers on the table. I thought he was going for the whole hand.
Now,
And
so,
they turn your head and force you to watch.
yeah, and because this monster thing has 4 arms, and 2 of them are coming in from the window. One to hold your head, one to chop off the other player's finger, and 2 more that are restraining the opposing player. Or whoever loses. Because if you lose, they chop off your finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't lose any matches, but again, it bombed out on that third match.
I lost the very first one, and then played like 3 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I played about 4 matches. 2 of them. Everybody's wearing Eyes Wide Shut masks, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And you can see their eyes peeking through the eye holes, and so there are some really funny or interesting moments where you can kind of see the fear in their faces juxtaposed with this weird smiling mask, and so there's a lot of nice detail with that. The dice game itself is pretty sound. You know, having the setup of 3 lanes with however many lanes are active for that round against your opponent, each of them having a power number, value, and then you roll your dice in order to stage additional power for the 2 blocks in front of it, and then have it just be sort of an auto battle thing happening. It's a nice little bit of strategery for it.
And like Joel was explaining, in rolling the dice, there's different kinds of dice that you have. The game introduces you to a 2-sided dice, which is basically just a coin, and then a 4-sided dice, and it's fun in how you get to roll them, and then you select whichever value you want in order to place it in the lane to try and achieve enough power to overtake the hill or the tower. They were calling them the towers. And then depending on if you succeed, then you can win coins and then use coins to purchase more dice, better dice, some might say.
So did you read the descriptions of the dice in the tome?
Vaguely.
So
I opened it and I looked at it. Does that count?
No. So
Am I Alex now?
You are, apparently. I bought a ivory 4-sided die, and the description said that it was a normal die, but it feels like it favors odd numbers.
Okay.
So as you bought the dice and learned more about them, you could mix up which dice you're going with depending upon whether you're going for the highest number, whether you're going to match another number, because that gives you other bonuses.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get the dice that have other properties. Like I came across a metal D6, but it was 12 coins, and I could not afford it. So I have no idea what that one got to do. You
didn't sell all your other dice just to get that?
Well, so that's the thing. If you have... So I only played long enough to have 2 lanes open. If you have fewer than 4 dice to put in the 2 panels for each lane, you just don't get to put a die there, and your chances of winning are less.
I stuck into a spot where I felt really handicapped, and it was like you said, the opponent had like 5 or 6 dice. I somehow had 3. I don't know if one of them got destroyed in some fashion, but yeah, you're in a situation where you really have to game the opponent's bad choices, and it's such a slim margin to victory. You can really get yourself into a fail state.
Yeah.
But games like this, it definitely wants you to make mistakes so that you can learn from them and get better and figure out what's going on. So there is limited, from what I played, interactables inside of the carriage. If you craned your neck all the way to the left side, there were locked cabinets. There was a lantern that you could pick up and you could turn it on, and I was trying to look around to see if there was anything else that I could interact with. You can open the windows on the carriage and look out. I really couldn't figure out what to do, and it might just be that the demo was set up specifically to see how the dice game works. Or did you guys figure anything else out?
No, that's what I gathered from my exploration as well, because you couldn't move from your seat either.
Yep. Okay. I was interested in this. I feel like I'm still interested in Dice of Arcana.
I did not expect to be as interested in this as I became. Because you're right, on its face, it's just, it's Inscription, now with the dice game. But the environment is different enough to be compelling. The game itself, there's enough skill and strategy involved to where you still feel like your choices matter. It's not too random. So yeah, I'm curious about this one.
There's some nuance to it. Okay, so we diced, we partied, and we tried to give Alex FOMO, so you guys want to take a break and then we could talk some backlog?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll see you in a couple. All right, so Alex, you wanted to bring me here to talk about Magic Mind?
Gaddy, I've been feeling real sluggish. I usually need 3 cups of coffee to get through the day. When I get home, I'm usually pretty wiped for gaming. It's not enough time.
3 cups of coffee? You taking any herbal supplements or anything to go along with your coffee for energy?
You know I don't trust that stuff, Getty. But what I do know is that luckily enough, we've partnered with Magic Mind to try out their 7-day challenge. We take their mental performance shot, 100% safe addition to my daily routine that kept me focused, mentally clear, motivated, and pretty productive.
You see, I'm not a big fan of matcha, but the shot was quick enough and easy enough to take, and I took it at the same time that I took my coffee. Pretty convenient.
It actually said it works with your coffee. It enhances it. It enhances you as a person. Generally.
It enhances me. I mean, all right, let's be fair. One of the things that I noticed in Magic Mind is it's got ashwagandha. I normally don't take herbal supplements, but that's one of the few that I can get behind it. So I enjoy being able to take it in a quick shot format instead of gummies like you normally would.
I agree, and I actually do take ashwagandha gummies, and I stopped taking them for this, and I actually preferred this. And it also entirely, like as a whole, the whole experience, I felt a soothing calm throughout my day, giving me focus to work and game, and energy to stay awake, the patience to handle my busy toddler. I noticed a zen-like state within myself, and it was surprising. I was actually surprised.
I don't know about zen, but I was keeping track of my resting heart rate the whole time and my stress levels. I have a Fitbit, and I found that during the time that I took Magic Mind, I was more calm, better stress levels, and my resting heart rate was down a couple of beats per minute.
That's fantastic. And at the same time, you could really taste the green. That's really what I have to say. You could taste the green, which wasn't bad. I was surprised at the taste. Pretty easy. You have tortured us with these ginger shots in the past, and they are atrocious. And this went down pretty easy.
I mean, yeah, that was ginger. This is just like straight matcha.
I mean, it's a mix of mushroom nootropics, adaptogens, and 100% of my daily vitamin C and D per bottle. It kept my immune system up. Again, toddler, always sick. So this is pretty good.
We got to find a way to get you some fish oil, man. Do we know if they add fish oil into Magic Mind?
No, but that might be something that could help. But for now, we have a limited time offer of 48% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase with code SuperGGRadio20 at checkout, or go to magicmind.com/SuperGGRadio20 to get yours today. Thanks, Magic Mind.
Thanks, Magic Mind. So this is the time that I had originally planned to talk about Until Dawn with Alex on the podcast. For those of you that were looking forward to it as much as I am, too bad. You got to wait another 2 weeks. Hopefully by that time, both of us remember the movie well enough that we can carry on a coherent conversation. But my money's on probably not.
Just need to watch it again. That's how this works, right?
At this rate, it'll probably be on streaming before we talk about it. I don't think that it did stellar at the box office, but still a very what I was expecting for a movie that shares very little in common with the game. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll talk about some backlog games, and as I understand it, there's another Capcom fighting collection that came out, so Joel's got about 2 hours worth of content to walk us through here.
I'm definitely giving you the abridged version of this, and it's only in the backlog blood because while the collection is new, the games are all old.
What? They're not new? There aren't any new games?
They're new to me.
Good answer.
Some of them are. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is, I think it's technically the third in the series of collections
Hold on.
They did
that
one.
That can't be right.
They did recent-ish ones.
Okay.
Recent-ish ones. God knows, across all systems everywhere, they've had dozens upon dozens of repackages of some of this stuff. But it's a collection of fighters and sort of a few arcade party games. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Power Stone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Power Stone, from my experience so far, has been a little different between the first and the second one, and I think the second one, this is the first time it's been available in a long time, but the first one is sort of an arena combat game, think like Air Guys, but not taking itself so seriously. There are items on the ground, including gems. If you collect 3 gems, you turn into a super-powered version of yourself that has attack moves that usually will just obliterate everything on screen when you're using them. And then there are things like weapons, and not just axes and swords and stuff. They got guns. Just guns. So you can just run around shooting people. Flamethrowers, all sorts of stuff like that. So, colorful, very old, basic 3D polygon type stuff. Movement, it's a little muddy, but it's not a big deal. It's the nature of the game. And that's more competitive. Power Stone 2 is like Smash Brothers playing with all items on and at fast regen mode. So it's a 4-player brawl. There are just as much items, if not more. You gotta pick up the gems, and you're trying to kill at least 2 of them in order to end the level. And the thing is, the levels are very dynamic now. So there's one where it's you're fighting on top of 2 submarines. And they're all moving sort of back and forth, going under or going back up. There are turrets you can jump to and start shooting people with, and other sorts of obstacles that can get in the way. Another one, and just my favorite level, was sort of a jungle kind of motif, but then you fall into a hole, and all of a sudden it's Indiana Jones with the boulder sort of rolling and chasing you and everybody else down a hallway. Trying to escape that. So it makes it feel almost more like a party game than a fighting game. And I mean that in a positive light, because it's really kind of manic and crazy. And there are boss battles. So there's a mid-game boss and an end-game boss with legit, like, big life bar. It's got these different patterns and phases you need to figure out. Not robust, but something that's unique to me in that kind of fight genre. So, cool addition. Yeah.
I'm just going to derail this for a second.
Do it.
I call shenanigans on this being a backlog block.
Okay.
Why?
Because it doesn't come out until today.
Yeah, but
the games are old.
Yeah. And by the time this podcast releases,
it'll be even older.
Yeah.
If my mobile game that's 2 weeks old can be an early adopters, I don't know that this can be a backlog block.
What do you... it was an early adopter. You are...
It can
the definition of early adopter is somebody that takes the technology when it's released or prior to release, and that's what... We have had this conversation.
Okay.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Is this should not be an early
so
but
he's talking specifically about Power Stone 2.
So if I was... let's say I just came in and said, I want to talk about Power Stone 2. I emulated it on my computer with a Dreamcast emulator because I can't find it anywhere. Here are my thoughts. Would that count as a backlog blog?
I still think that this counts as a backlog blog because these are old games.
Here, see, we'll do it this way, okay?
Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper Power Stone 2. All right, I think that's probably no. You don't need any more.
All right, guys. I've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I played 8 games this week.
Let us take one step back and really try and define it. So the difference being, Joel, is this game remastered? Does it have any additional quality of life changes to it, or it is a pure port in the form of the Capcom Fighting Collection?
Pure port in the format of the Capcom Fighting Collection.
So yes, it's just a nice package that it comes in. Otherwise, these are all old games that everybody can emulate now.
Yeah, it's like when you pay $10 for a gift box that the person you're giving it to is just gonna recycle when you leave. So it's it's a nice box. No. It's a nice package. It's comes with all sorts of bells and whistles that you want for this kind of stuff. But yeah, we won't go much further into this. Just to say that that series and the SNK versus Capcom series, that which has the 1 and 2 entry and that one as well, are the real meat and potatoes of this. Capcom versus Synced is a really maybe niche is the wrong term, but sort of mid-tier in terms of popularity, but it's a really cool series of games where it gives you the option to play as characters from either series, but in the style of either series. So I can be Ryu and Ken, but have it in the SNK style combat, button input placement. You have to charge your power in order to do the actual super moves and stuff, and it adds a nice little bit of extra tension and push and pull. And then there's just a few oddities in there that I was kind of nonplussed about. They're interesting from a I didn't know this existed, now I know where this character comes from kind of stuff, but things I probably wouldn't go back to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're definitely a fan of this kind of genre, and when they give you the option to go back and explore a handful of these games that you might have missed or you didn't have the opportunity to play, it's got to feel pretty good, right?
It's nice to fill out my understanding of the broader genre, because everybody knows the Soul Caliburs, the Mortal Kombats, the Street Fighters, but it's not funny not just seeing, oh, here's Ryu in another game. It's also learning things like, man, Capcom really loves using the quarter circle plus punch button for a lot of characters. So you also learn the kind of patterns and ticks that they have when they're making this stuff. But
don't feel quite as special anymore. Like, look he's got a special move. It's not that special.
It's okay. You can just set the special to a 1-button press, and then you're good.
Yeah. That's other games, though. We don't talk about those games here on the podcast.
I don't know, if you can one button press to do quarter circle forward, it might be worth it.
We only play difficult games here. We want the challenge.
So, to take a complete tangent, Final Fantasy VI, the blitzes, the Super Nintendo did not have a way to actually differentiate a diagonal press from a down or a forward press. So you could cheese all of the blitzes in Final Fantasy VI by just hitting any of the directional buttons instead of having to actually go through the quarter circles and everything and hope it gets picked up.
You learn something new every day? Is that how you cheesed it?
No, but yes.
All right. I brought a game. I don't have to talk about it in too much detail. It was a game that we tried the demo for when it originally came out 2-3 years ago. But Triangle Strategy, it has that feel of a Final Fantasy Tactics game. It looks like a Final Fantasy Tactics game. It, in some ways, is better than Final Fantasy Tactics in the way that I'm sure that Alex would not be able to physically break the disc. But also, it doesn't have to be difficult. And the stages don't scale. So, What is Triangle Strategy? Yeah, so Triangle Strategy is a turn-based strategy RPG. It follows a pattern of story beats followed by a battle, and I think that there was a time when we were seeing a lot of Game of Thrones premises, and this has that. There are multiple houses, they are all aligned, they're creating a truce to trade iron and salt and open trade routes among the three nations so that everybody can prosper, and it's great. And that's how the story starts out, is that your character Serenoa is being wed to an outsider, somebody that is coming from one of the other nations to help strengthen the bond and just kind of like push the story along. And then almost instantly, one of the nations decides to rescind on the deal and starts an all-out war. And then so far in the story, I'm like 9 chapters in. And again, each one follows like you watch a bit of story and then you do a battle. And each of the battles, it tells you like, hey, you should be this level going into the fight. And that's where like you have a whole encampment where you can go to, you can upgrade your character's weapons, you can do mock battles, or you can go back and play the battles that you've already done through the course of the game to level up your crew. And they just keep throwing more and more characters at me, and it's nice, but I'm trying to just use the core ones, and that's as much as I'll say on that. But one of the things that sets this apart is that it has diverging paths in the story, because it introduces the idea of this the scales of balance. And each time you come to a critical decision in the story, your characters will have a opportunity to discuss and then vote on what you're going to do. So Serenoa will go around, he'll talk to each of the characters, it'll tell you like, these 3 people are going to vote for, these 3 people are going to vote against, and this one person is undecided. So you'll talk to them, and you'll give them the opportunity to like, hey, maybe we should approach it this way, and then after the vote, the story will then proceed onto the next beat based on what your crew decided. You can sway people to vote differently, but it doesn't always work, and that's where the final piece of the puzzle comes in. This game has exploration, which is different from your Final Fantasy Tactics, because you take the character into a map, and you can go around and talk to different characters in a town. You can find items laying around, and you can learn more about the whole kingdom, the story, and it really spaces things out nicely. Instead of just going from story beat to story beat, the introduction of the scales of balance or scales of conviction is what it's called. So the scales of conviction and these times when you can go out and explore in a town, it gives more of a break to just the Final Fantasy, like, you're going from this point to this point in the map, and you got to fight a battle and have fun battling, and everything's scaled, so even though you got your characters to level 99, all of these monsters are level 99.
The scales thing was definitely a big hook that I was curious about, and to your point, I know that it's the game sometimes stripped the illusion of choice a little bit, but even having that feeling like you're influencing things can be pretty cool, and the idea that you're influencing the outcome of the game is a cool conceit.
As I understand, there are multiple endings to the game, so I'm going to do my playthrough and see what I get, and then there's a potential for replay in it. I don't know if a new game will carry over items or the upgrades that I've made to the characters, but each character has its own class. Finding items helps you to upgrade them, and then you can further unlock skills by leveling up the characters through the course of combat. It's got a lot of systems, but nothing feels overly complicated.
You sold this game very well as somebody who liked the idea of Final Fantasy Tactics, but got frustrated and quit without snapping a PlayStation disc.
And I was telling Alec during the break, but in the demo that we played, the mission that they give you, I think they give you 2 battles. Mm-hmm. Those are already a few steps into the main story. They are like the 5th or 6th fight. So those in the demo were very difficult. Mm-hmm. And in my playthrough, I've been going back, I've been going to the encampment, I've been doing training, I've been upgrading my characters, so I was prepared for these. It was not as much of a stretch, and it didn't... I didn't have to like break a disc in half. I was just like, all right, like very again strategy game. So you have to manage like this guy should be over here. Okay, we make a wall over here. There's a character that literally drops an ice wall, so you can make the enemy targets have to either break through the wall or find another way to get to you. It's I like me some strategy games. And I think I talked enough about Triangle Strategy. I'm going to try and power through it as my Steam Deck game for right now. I purchased it on sale. I would recommend doing the same. I think they still want like 40 or 50 regular price. Higher, 60.
Yep.
I think you can find it used for better than that.
I say 20 is a good price for it. Maybe 30 if you're really like hungry for it, but 20 is good. All right. So we did backlogs, we did early adopters. Before we go into our one last thing, Joel, can you give us just a where are you in Sekiro update?
I got thrashed by the Lightning Samurai.
Multiple phases?
Oh, just one. I'll give you the direct chain of events. So the area the area leading up to that is it turns into a cutscene and then you initiate the fight, right? And it felt like a long road, and I was really hoping that there would be a save point right prior, because like Souls games, saving heals you and refills everything, repopulates the world with enemies again. But I thought, well, if I can get to a save point right before, that way if I die, I'll be okay.
There is one.
I'm not surprised, but my health was like at a sliver, like one hit from a boss, two maybe if it's a weak guy. I go through the cutscene, it starts, split second, I'm just dead, just one-shotted.
Did you at least find the save point or the bonfire or whatever it is before? All right, I'm gonna help you out a little bit here. Okay. So you were at the very top of the building. Don't go to the very top of the building. There are a couple of rooms that are underneath that you can get into, and just prior there is a room that has a mini boss in it, and if you can defeat the mini boss, then it gives you like a clear shot to get back up to the roof to fight him.
Okay. All right.
So keep an eye out, but you definitely can get into that building, and there's a couple of save points or bonfires, whatever we're calling them, in that.
Praise the sun?
No, I think it's like the sculptor's
idol.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played this game.
Not that long ago.
I finished it. I remember everything that happened. I feel like I could recapitulate it a little bit more coherently than Alex, but who knows? He's not here to defend himself. It's okay.
Nope.
All right. That'll move us along to our final segment of the night. One last thing. This week's One Last Thing is brought to you by the National Weather Service and storm warnings. Yep, that's a thing. That's what kept Alex from us. Bad weather. My one last thing, I don't have anything on Saturday. I'm definitely going to play Expedition 33. We'll see if I can make it through another act. I made it through the end of Act 1. And that's all I'm going to say. For those of you that know what that means, you should yeah. Alex will get there someday. Maybe you guys too. All right, Joel.
I sold my Steam Deck.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For just money?
Yes, just.
I don't know. You could have traded it in at your game shop and gotten something cool, man.
No. So that thing, I found myself just placing it somewhere, and I just didn't get used. And between that and me conceding that I'm going to get a Switch to and have to finance that, and I was surprised at how little I used it, and I can't figure out why. I mean, as a system, it's a neat thing, but maybe it still felt a little bit too having to configure stuff and deal with compatibility stuff sometimes, and I don't know. It's too bad, but I pretty much I got what I paid for it back, so I'm satisfied.
R.I.P. your Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm. It's in a better place now.
I sure hope so. All right, Alec?
See, I've been playing my Steam Deck. Granted, I'm emulating PlayStation games, and I have spent 6.5 hours on Legend of Mana in the past week. And I'm going to continue to do so. This is my current fixation, going and exploring the world that I'm creating through little artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel like this is one that'll stick.
I mean, as much as it has in the past. Hopefully I'll beat it this time.
Okay. All right.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
That's all we can ask. All right. That'll be it for this week's episode of Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on Blue Sky at Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where every other Thursday we're doing some podcast stuff. Alternating Thursdays, maybe Alec will be playing whatever he wants. Maybe I'll trick him into playing some Magic the Gathering. You'll just have to, follow us or watch us to find out what's up. Joel, you got any streaming plans?
Just continuing Sekiro for now. Once Marvel vs. Capcom Collection 2 is officially out, maybe we'll take some multiplayer for a spin, but we'll see.
All right, Joel's got 2 more weeks to finish Sekiro, if memory serves.
Correct.
I'm pulling for you.
Thank you. I noticed no vote of confidence. I did that, but I appreciate the well wishes.
I think you can do it. You just have to put your face down and run at the wall as hard as you can.
All right.
I heard somebody did that to get through Expedition 33.
They put. Oh, you mean? I also heard that they didn't use parrying or dodging, and they were able to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
The game tells you off the bat that you don't have to dodge or parry. It'll just make the experience a little bit easier. So, you don't have to do those things. I believe Alex has Wednesdays streaming plans. He did some Expedition 33 last night, and maybe he will continue the trend. Otherwise, maybe he'll play any of the other games that I know that he should pick back up. Such as, do we want to do a running list?
Marvel Rivals?
Monster Hunter. Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 7. Well, I know he's got more games.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Soon he'll have Death Stranding 2.
Do you think
he has Stellar Blade?
Does he have Stellar Blade?
Yes, I bought it.
Okay.
For him. I went to a GameStop, purchased it, and delivered it to him, and then I proceeded to play it, and he still hasn't opened it. I sold my copy back.
Look, Robin, your college fund.
Don't look at this one. No. And we don't talk about Stellar Blade. All right. If you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com, and provide us a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. Please check out our Patreon, where you can get monthly pictures of our dogs, get your name read off as an executive producer, or free copies of Early Adopters. Hey, you could even get a chance to play games with us, the non-AI humans of Super GG Radio that hand check, definitely have 5 fingers on each hand. Joel, what's going on with your hands?
What?
He's been playing some Arcana dice.
I've got Capcom.
Oh, all right. Thanks for listening, and good game, Joel.
Good game.
Good game, Alec.
GG.
See, I didn't say butt night once.